Hi Henny, so perhaps you could tell us a little bit about your own background in dance performance choreography.
My own background in dance performance choreography, gosh, my background is originally classical ballet, if we go back a long way, and then contemporary dance as a London-based independent contemporary dancer working with lots of choreographers, and as a maker it was a sort of slow emerging of making work while I was a dancer, and then gradually establishing sort of much more of my own voice. I think as a maker I did do an MA, but I think a lot of my making was taking on forms that I was using with other choreographers, so sort of taking on those. But then over time, I think I developed what I sort of was trying to say with these things. And since about 2004, a lot of the work that I've made has been under the banner of Kennel Hill Project and in various forms of collaboration with Rachel Lopez de Henrietta and Ben Ash. And we take collaboration as quite a broad term, so it can mean anything from one person's vision to to other people just supporting that vision in different ways, or to something that's very much a co-authored piece. Or it could mean that we sort of we present work, each individual works together under an umbrella and have a coherent theme to it. So it's a broad term of a collective.
Maybe a little bit about Ben and Rachel's background, if you could.
Ben, again, had as a younger dancer, he worked for lots of companies. He worked for Richard Alston, and Charles Linehan, a lot of work for Charles Linehan. And Rachel, again, had a classical ballet background. I've actually known Rachel since we were 8. We were junior associates at the Royal Ballet School together. That's quite going a really, really long way back. And for some odd reason, we stayed connected and we stayed friends all that time, although we didn't train together. She trained at Central School of Ballet, and I trained at the Royal Ballet School. And then both of us also had, I think she was, as a young person, she was really choreographically precocious. She used to win all the competitions. And she was actually quite sophisticated for a young choreographer, actually. And somehow when we were in our 20s, we were kind of friends who used to hang out together and talk about making work and make silly little films. And so there was just always this shared enjoyment of making together, and the sort of understanding of each other's sort of strange world and inner world, and an ability to connect, I think.
And you were in transitions yourself as well, weren't you?
I was in transitions in 1990 something, yes.
Okay. So moving on from that, how does it feel to come back and work with the company, and how would you sum up your time working with the company?
It's been, in a strange way, it doesn't feel like coming back, because it feels like a very different kind of setup and a different company and a different idea of transitions now than it was when I was young. And also I've been at Laban for years as well, sort of in and out, teaching on the BA programme. So I feel like it's never been far away from me. The idea of transitions and Laban and everything. So, and it's been nice because actually I knew some of the students beforehand. I had taught them in various contexts to varying degrees. And it's nice to sort of, I always really enjoy seeing how students develop over time and how they find their sort of distinctive voice as performers. And it's been great to get to know them, actually, to get to understand a group. You always get to a point where you kind of fall in love with them a bit, and yeah.
Great, thank you. I wonder if you could say how working and touring in the UK is for Dog Kennel Hill Project, and maybe how that differs from other places.
As in the UK, different to
other, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, that's a tricky old question. Yeah, Dog Kennel Hill Project have, I would say, we've been going for quite a long time, and we have, we've established a profile, and we get support from certain specific agencies or venues. We're well supported in by Dance 4, and we've been getting support from South East Dance. But the way we work, or the way we operate, and the way we want to operate, is to sort of build slow, strong relationships for quite integrated projects. We never really saw ourselves as a sort of generic touring company that would produce a piece a year that would tour all the main venues, because I think we did that a lot as dancers, and it felt like it had its limitations, and it doesn't feel like our work really fits that model. So it's taking us a long time. It's quite a slow burn to build the relationships, to get to the situations where you can get the kinds of support that can really help you make work that has an impact. But we're quite interested in establishing relationships with communities in the places that we go to. So we like to sort of embed ourselves into locations or with venues. We like to sort of get relationships that are kind of meaningful like that, and that takes time. But it's slowly happening, and we're also finding that our work sits well. We've been building relationships with visual arts organisations as much now as dance organisations. So we did a project with Whitechapel Gallery, and we worked with Stow Valley Arts in Kent, and we're just about to do a residency at Camden Arts Centre actually. And that feels very fruitful as well. It's a kind of sense of, it's taking us a while, or it's taken us a while, but a sort of positioning of ourselves. Not that we want to sort of betray the fact that we come from dance, and we certainly use the body and choreographic principles, but I think we've always sort of seen the work we make as sitting as an art piece, and sometimes that feels like it sits better or it's understood better in visual arts context. Not that that's an easy scene to get by in either, but yeah. Was that answering the question?
Yeah.
Was there another part?
Yeah, no, that's great. Any advice you'd give to up-and-coming dancers or choreographers?
Just really kind of, you have to enjoy it. You have to really enjoy it, because that's what you get out of it. And I think some of my advice would be sort of based on some of my experiences, or some of the things I sort of wish I could have done more when I was younger, which is to just follow your own kind of trajectory and belief, and I think you feel this sort of pressure to find where you fit in all the time, and actually it can be tough to not always fit in. But I think if you just got to keep you have to keep knowing why you're doing it,
mm-hmm.
and then you have to sort of, and then I think one of the things I'm really kind of starting to understand, maybe quite late, but like that is to try and sort of get rid of any doubt and just do whatever you do and just do it really well.
Okay. And then the last question about the piece you're making with transitions at the moment. Could you just very briefly talk about the key themes?
So the key,
without giving the game away.
No, it doesn't really necessarily give the game away, but I think when we knew we were working with a young group particularly, And especially in relation to some of the work that we've been doing more recently, we were very kind of clear that it was us feeling like we're getting to a sort of a stage of having a lot of experience and feeling like, you know, we've gone somewhere, experienced it, and that we were working with this sort of young group. And I think we wanted to really celebrate that and make a piece sort of a bit about the young, what it is to be young and to be on a threshold of not knowing where you're going, or to feel like there's some established way before you. And there was this song that Jules Maxwell has written called The Shifty Sons. And that's about someone who owns a shop. I mean, it's a kind of surreal ditty of a song, but it's about someone who owns a shop, which is like owning the place, who dies, and then his shifty sons take over, and his shifty sons live in the back of the shop. And I just found that there was something quite poetic about that. And for us, I think I suppose the theme for our piece is this idea that there's this sort of rumbling shiftiness, youth. And we've obviously got our own projections of what that is that we're making up, obviously. I don't know what. When you're looking at it from an older perspective, you always, you know, you're projecting something on it. But I think we're kind of just interested in. So there's a sort of sense of something needing to die, or a death and a birth, and there's all of that that's in there. You don't necessarily need to know that, but it's there for us.